The lanterns are fading, and the village is in darkness. Selene smiled warmly. You have a brave heart, Mira. The lanterns draw their light from the very essence of the moon. But tonight, the light has been dimmed by a shadow that has stolen the moon's radiance. Only someone pure of heart can help us find it and restore the balance. The moon goddess then handed Mira the empty lantern from the pedestal. This lantern holds the essence of the moon. You must fill it with moonlight by finding the lost piece of the moon that was taken by the shadow. Mira nodded, taking the lantern with care. How will I find it? Selene pointed toward a distant, dark part of the forest. Follow the path of the stars. They will guide you to where the shadow hides. With the lantern in hand, Mira ventured toward the dark forest, where the stars above seemed to flicker more brightly. As she walked, she noticed the stars forming a trail, guiding her deeper into the shadows. The path was filled with tangled vines and eerie sounds, but Mira followed the starry trail with unwavering determination. At last, she reached a hidden cave, its entrance guarded by dark, swirling mist. Mira took a deep breath and stepped inside. The cave was dark, but the stars above continued to guide her, leading her to a small, glowing orb trapped in a web of shadows. The orb was pulsating with a faint, silver light, the very essence of the moon. As Mira approached, the shadows grew thicker, trying to keep the orb from her reach. But Mira's lantern, glowing softly with hope and courage, shone brighter as she held it up. The light from the lantern began to push back the shadows, illuminating the cave. With a final burst of determination, Mira reached out and touched the glowing orb. The shadows recoiled, and the orb floated gently into her hands. The moment she grasped it, the cave filled with a radiant, moonlit glow. The essence of the moon was restored to the lantern. Mira hurried back to the clearing, where Selene waited. As she approached, she placed the orb into the empty lantern. The lantern glowed with a brilliant light, and the clearing was bathed in a warm, silver radiance. Selene smiled with approval. You have restored the light, Mira. The moon's radiance is returned, and the lanterns will once again shine brightly for your village. The moon goddess waved her hand, and a soft breeze carried the light of the lantern up into the sky. The clouds parted, and the moon shone brightly once more. The lanterns in Luminara began to glow, floating gracefully into the night sky, carrying the villagers' wishes and dreams. Mira returned to her village, greeted with cheers and celebration. The moonlit night was more beautiful than ever, and the lanterns shone with renewed brilliance. Mira's bravery and pure heart had saved the village, and she had fulfilled her greatest wish. She had met the moon goddess and restored the light. From that night on, Mira was known not just as a village girl, but as the keeper of the lanterns, a symbol of hope and courage for all who looked up at the moonlit sky. And so, the village of Luminara continued to thrive under the gentle glow of the moon, its lanterns floating high, guided by the light of a brave heart. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a land where the mountains touched the sky and rivers sang melodies of old, there was a magnificent kingdom known as Ecosia. This kingdom was ruled by a wise and fair queen named Seraphina. Ecosia was famous for its beautiful landscapes, but its greatest treasure was the enchanted mirror, a magical artifact that had the power to reveal the truth and grant glimpses of the future. The enchanted mirror was kept in a grand hall within the royal palace, and its magic was safeguarded by a loyal knight named Sir Cedric. The mirror's reflections were said to hold wisdom and guidance, making it an invaluable asset to the kingdom. However, its true power could only be used by those with a pure heart and noble intentions. One stormy night, a dark sorceress named Morgoth, who had long coveted the mirror's power, sneaked into the palace with a nefarious plan. She had discovered a way to use the mirror to create illusions of despair and chaos. If she succeeded, she could cast Ecosia into darkness and seize control of the kingdom. Morgoth managed to steal the enchanted mirror and escape into the Whispering Woods, a mysterious forest known for its eerie silence and shifting paths. As soon as she took the mirror, its magic began to create illusions across Ecosia, making the once beautiful kingdom appear bleak and desolate. Queen Seraphina, deeply troubled by the sudden change in the kingdom's magic, called upon her most trusted advisor, the clever wizard Eric. Eric, with his deep knowledge of magic and ancient lore, knew that the key to restoring Ecosia lay in retrieving the enchanted mirror. Queen Seraphina chose 3 brave souls to undertake the quest: Elara, a courageous young woman with a heart full of hope; Bran, a skilled archer with unmatched aim; and Lysandra, a gentle healer with the power to mend both wounds and spirits. Together, they set off on a journey to find the Whispering Woods and retrieve the mirror from Morgoth. Their journey was fraught with challenges. They traversed the misty meadows, where dense fog concealed hidden dangers, and crossed the rocky ravine, where treacherous paths and swift rivers threatened their progress. With each obstacle, the trio used their unique skills and teamwork to overcome the trials. Elara's bravery led them through dangerous terrain, Bran's precision helped them fend off lurking creatures, and Lysandra's healing touch kept them strong and hopeful. Finally, they reached the edge of the Whispering Woods. The forest was shrouded in a haunting silence, and the trees seemed to shift and whisper secrets. To enter, they had to pass a series of tests set by the forest itself. The first test was a riddle spoken by the ancient trees: "I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I?" Bran, who had keen senses and quick thinking, answered, "An echo." The trees parted, allowing them to continue. Next, they encountered a shimmering river that required them to cross without falling into the icy waters. Lysandra used her healing magic to create a path of floating stones, guiding them safely across. As they ventured deeper into the forest, they finally arrived at Morgotha's hidden lair. The sorceress was casting dark spells, using the enchanted mirror to create nightmarish illusions that tormented the kingdom. Elara, Bran, and Lysandra approached the lair cautiously. Elara's bravery led them into the chamber, where Morgoth was absorbed in her dark magic. The sorceress, sensing their presence, turned to confront them with a malevolent grin. "You think you can defeat me?" Morgoth sneered. "The mirror is mine, and Ecosia will fall into despair." Elara stepped forward, her heart full of determination. "We're here to stop you and restore the mirror's true magic," she declared. A fierce battle ensued. Bran's arrows flew true, disrupting Morgotha's spells, while Lysandra's healing magic countered the sorceress's dark enchantments. Elara faced Morgoth directly, her courage and resolve shining through. In a final, desperate move, Morgoth attempted to shatter the enchanted mirror. But Elara, with the combined strength of her friends, managed to protect it. The mirror's magic, bolstered by their pure hearts and noble intentions, overcame Morgotha's dark powers. The sorceress was defeated, and the mirror's true light was restored. With Morgoth vanquished and the enchanted mirror reclaimed, the illusions over Ecosia faded, and the kingdom's magic was revived. The Whispering Woods, once eerie and silent, now hummed with the gentle sounds of nature. Queen Seraphina welcomed the heroes back to the palace with great joy and gratitude. The enchanted mirror was returned to its rightful place, and Ecosia thrived once more under its benevolent magic. Elara, Bran, and Lysandra were honored for their bravery and selflessness. The kingdom celebrated with a grand festival, where songs and stories of their adventure were shared with all. The enchanted mirror continued to shine brightly, guiding and protecting Ecosia, and the kingdom lived in harmony and prosperity. The tale of the 3 heroes became a cherished legend, a reminder of the power of courage, friendship, and the magic of truth. And so, in the land of Ecosia, where dreams and magic intertwined, the kingdom thrived under the watchful eyes of its wise queen and the enduring light of the enchanted mirror. The end. In the heart of the kingdom of Eldoria, where majestic mountains kissed the sky and lush meadows danced with wildflowers, there existed a wondrous lake known as Lake Luminera. The lake was famed for its sparkling waters that reflected the colors of the sunset and for a mystical gem said to be hidden beneath its depths, the Whispering Sapphire. This gem was believed to hold the power to grant a single wish to anyone who found it. The tale begins with a spirited young girl named Elara who lived in the small village of Willowbrook at the edge of the enchanted forest. Elara had always been curious about the legends of the Whispering Sapphire. Despite the village's warnings about the lake's mysteries and the dangers that lurked within, her heart was set on discovering the truth. One crisp autumn morning, Alara awoke with a determined gleam in her eye. Her village was in turmoil, a terrible drought had afflicted the land, and the crops were failing. The villagers whispered about the Whispering Sapphire, believing it could end their suffering if only it could be found. Alara decided that she would embark on a quest to retrieve the sapphire and save her village. Equipped with a small satchel of supplies, a map given to her by her grandmother, and her trusty compass, Alara set out for Lake Luminera. As she journeyed through the enchanted forest, the trees seemed to whisper words of encouragement, and the animals watched her with curious eyes. After several days of travel, Alara finally arrived at the edge of Lake Luminera. The lake was as beautiful as the legends described, its waters shimmering like 1,000 stars. But Alara knew that finding the Whispering Sapphire would not be easy. According to the map, the sapphire was guarded by 3 ancient trials. The first trial was the Trial of the Echoing Forest. Alara had to navigate through a dense thicket where the trees echoed with confusing sounds. She followed the clues provided by the echoes, each one guiding her closer to the heart of the forest. She carefully listened and noted that the echoes followed a pattern that led her to a hidden path. At the end of the path, Alara reached a clearing with a great stone archway. Inscribed on the archway were ancient symbols. Alara realized that the symbols were a puzzle she needed to solve. She remembered her grandmother's teachings about ancient languages and used her knowledge to decode the symbols. The archway opened, revealing a shimmering bridge that led across the lake. The second trial was the Trial of the Shimmering Bridge. The bridge was delicate and made of floating light beams that shifted and changed. Alara had to cross it without falling into the water below. She took a deep breath and carefully timed her steps, using her agility to move across the beams. She was halfway through when a sudden gust of wind blew, causing the beams to sway. Alara remained calm, focusing on the path and using her balance to reach the other side. On the other side, Alara found a small wooden cabin with a kindly old woman sitting on the porch. The woman introduced herself as Luna, the keeper of the lake. She explained that Alara had passed the first 2 trials but faced one final challenge, the Trial of the Heart. The Trial of the Heart was the most difficult. Luna revealed that the Whispering Sapphire could only be found by someone who was truly selfless and pure of heart. To prove her worth, Alara had to face her greatest fear and demonstrate her true intentions. Alara took a deep breath and entered the cabin, where a mystical mirror awaited. The mirror showed her a vision of her village suffering and her own reflection holding the sapphire. She realized that the vision was not about her own desires, but about her commitment to her village. Alara had to confront her fear of failure and the possibility that her quest might not succeed. She looked into the mirror and spoke from her heart, expressing her sincere wish to help her village and ensure their well-being. The mirror's surface rippled, and the Whispering Sapphire appeared, glowing softly with a gentle light. Luna smiled and congratulated Alara. She handed her the sapphire and advised her to make her wish with a heart full of hope and compassion. Alara thanked Luna and made her way back to Willowbrook, clutching the sapphire close. Upon returning to her village, Alara held the sapphire up to the sky and wished for rain to end the drought and restore the land's fertility. The sapphire glowed brightly, and soon dark clouds gathered over the village. Rain began to fall, and the land was rejuvenated. The crops grew lush and green, and the villagers celebrated with joy and gratitude. Alara's bravery and selflessness became the stuff of legend in Willowbrook. The Whispering Sapphire was returned to the lake, and the villagers learned that true magic lay not just in the gem but in the heart of a hero who sought to help others. From that day forward, Alara was known as the Guardian of Willowbrook, and her story inspired generations to come. The enchanted forest and Lake Luminera remained a place of magic, and the villagers lived in harmony, always remembering the brave young girl who saved them with her courage and compassion. The end. Once upon a time, in a bustling village nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling river, there lived a wise old clockmaker named Tobias. Tobias was known throughout the land for his intricate and magical clocks that could measure not just time, but also moments of joy and sorrow. His most prized possession was an ancient clock known as the Heart of Time, a masterpiece that was said to hold the secrets of time itself. The clock was kept in the heart of Tobias's workshop, a cozy, cluttered space filled with the tick-tock of countless timepieces and the warm scent of wood and oil. Tobias had an apprentice named Lila, a bright and curious young girl who had been learning the art of clockmaking for many years. Lila admired Tobias greatly and dreamed of creating something as magnificent as the Heart of Time one day. One crisp autumn morning, as Tobias and Lila worked on a delicate cuckoo clock, a stranger arrived at the workshop. He was a tall man with a cloak as dark as midnight and eyes that gleamed with an unsettling light. He introduced himself as Mortimer and claimed to be a collector of rare and magical artifacts. "I have come to acquire the Heart of Time," Mortimer said, his voice smooth and persuasive. "I am willing to pay handsomely for it." Tobias's face grew solemn. "The Heart of Time is not for sale. It holds more than just mechanical parts. It is a keeper of the essence of time itself." Mortimer's eyes narrowed. "I see. Well, if you refuse to sell it, I will take it by force. Time is a powerful thing, and I will have it." Without another word, Mortimer cast a spell that sent the workshop into darkness. When the lights returned, the Heart of Time was gone, along with the stranger. Tobias was distraught, but he knew that recovering the Heart of Time was crucial for the balance of time itself. He turned to Lila, who was standing by in shock. "Lila, you must retrieve the Heart of Time. It is essential that you go after Mortimer and bring it back." "I will guide you with these instructions," he said, handing her a parchment with cryptic symbols. Lila accepted the challenge with determination. With Tobias's instructions in hand, she set out on her quest. The parchment revealed a series of clues that led her through a mystical forest, across a shimmering lake, and up a steep mountain path. Her journey was filled with trials. In the forest, she encountered mischievous sprites that tried to lead her astray. Using her wits, she solved their riddles and continued on her path. At the lake, she had to cross a bridge guarded by a wise old turtle who tested her patience and kindness. When she proved her worth, the turtle allowed her to pass. Finally, on the mountain, she faced a treacherous climb and a storm that tested her resolve. Each challenge brought her closer to her goal, and Lila's courage and ingenuity saw her through. Eventually, she arrived at an ancient castle, where Mortimer had taken the Heart of Time. The castle was surrounded by an enchanted barrier that could only be breached by someone with a pure heart. As Lila approached the castle, she saw Mortimer standing before a grand clock, trying to harness the Heart of Time's magic for himself. The clock's face was dark and twisted, and Mortimer looked on with greedy eyes. Lila stepped forward and confronted him. "Mortimer, you cannot control time for your own gain. The Heart of Time is a treasure meant to be respected, not exploited." Mortimer sneered. "You are too late, child. The power of time will be mine." But as Mortimer reached for the Heart of Time, the ancient magic within the castle reacted to his greed. The castle's walls began to crumble, and the dark clock's hands spun wildly. Realizing his mistake, Mortimer tried to escape, but the castle's magic was too strong. Lila, remembering Tobias's instructions, used the knowledge she had gained throughout her journey to restore the Heart of Time to its rightful place. She placed it carefully within the grand clock, and the moment she did, the castle's magic began to stabilize. The Heart of Time glowed with a warm, soothing light, and time flowed smoothly once more. With the Heart of Time returned to its rightful place, the enchanted barrier around the castle vanished. Mortimer was swept away by the castle's magic, never to be seen again. The castle, now restored to its former glory, stood as a symbol of the balance between time and respect. Lila returned to the village with the Heart of Time, and Tobias welcomed her with open arms. The village celebrated her bravery and the return of the precious artifact. The Heart of Time resumed its role, ensuring that time flowed as it should and that moments of joy and sorrow were in harmony. From that day forward, Lila continued her training with Tobias, and together they crafted many more wondrous timepieces. The tale of Lila's courage and the Heart of Time became a cherished story in the village, reminding everyone of the importance of respect and the balance of time. And so, in the kingdom of Earander, where time and magic intertwined, the legacy of the Heart of Time and its brave protector lived on, inspiring future generations to honor the essence of time and the wisdom that comes with it. Once upon a time, in a dense forest far away, there lived a clever fox named Finnegan. Finnegan was not the biggest or the strongest creature in the forest, but he was known for his quick wit and sharp mind. The forest was his home, a place full of tall trees, winding rivers, and all kinds of animals. Although Finnegan enjoyed his peaceful life, he always dreamed of discovering something extraordinary that would make him famous throughout the land. One sunny morning, as Finnegan was walking along his favorite path, he spotted a shiny object lying on the ground. Curious, he trotted over to investigate. To his surprise, it was a golden feather. The feather was unlike any he had ever seen. It was long and shimmering, and when Finnegan held it up to the sunlight, it sparkled like 1,000 tiny stars. He immediately knew this was something special. "I must find out where this feather came from," Finnegan said to himself. "Maybe it belongs to a magical bird. If I can find that bird, I might learn its secrets and become famous." With the golden feather tucked behind his ear, Finnegan set off into the forest to find the owner of the feather. As he walked deeper into the woods, Finnegan met a wise old owl named Oliver perched on a high branch. Oliver was known to be the wisest creature in the forest, so Finnegan thought he might know something about the feather. "Good morning, Oliver," Finnegan called out. "Do you know anything about this golden feather?" Oliver blinked his large eyes and looked closely at the feather. "Ah, that is a rare and precious feather," the owl hooted. "It belongs to the golden phoenix, a legendary bird that lives on the highest peak of the Crystal Mountain. The golden phoenix only sheds one feather every 100 years. Whoever finds the phoenix and asks it a question will have their deepest wish granted." Finnegan's eyes widened with excitement. "Thank you, Oliver. I must find the golden phoenix and ask for its help." Without wasting a moment, Finnegan began his journey to Crystal Mountain, carrying the golden feather as a guide. The journey was long and full of challenges. Finnegan had to cross rivers, climb steep hills, and walk through thick forests. After several days, he finally reached the base of Crystal Mountain. The mountain was tall and covered in glittering crystals that sparkled in the sunlight. Finnegan knew that the climb would be difficult, but he was determined to reach the top. As Finnegan started to climb, he met a squirrel named Squeaky who was sitting on a rock, looking sad. "Why do you look so sad, Squeaky?" Finnegan asked. "I've lost my way," Squeaky replied. "I wanted to gather some nuts for the winter, but now I can't find my way back home." Finnegan thought for a moment, then said, "I can help you find your way home. I know this forest very well." He took Squeaky down the mountain a little way, guiding him through the forest paths. Soon, they reached Squeaky's tree. "Thank you, Finnegan," Squeaky said, his eyes shining with gratitude. Finnegan smiled and waved goodbye before returning to his climb. He knew he had done the right thing, even though it meant a delay in his journey. After more climbing, Finnegan met a young deer named Daisy who was crying beside a fallen tree. "Why are you crying, Daisy?" Finnegan asked gently. "I've lost my mother in the forest, and I don't know where to find her," Daisy sobbed. Finnegan felt a pang of sympathy. "Don't worry, I'll help you find her," he said. With his keen senses, Finnegan listened carefully and heard the call of Daisy's mother in the distance. He led Daisy through the forest until they found her mother grazing by a stream. Daisy's face lit up with joy, and her mother thanked Finnegan for his kindness. Feeling good about helping others, Finnegan continued his climb up Crystal Mountain. As he neared the peak, he noticed a brilliant golden light shining above him. Following the light, he reached a beautiful, hidden glade. In the center of the glade stood the golden phoenix, its feathers shimmering with every color of the rainbow. The bird's eyes sparkled with wisdom, and its presence filled the glade with warmth. "Welcome, Finnegan," the golden phoenix said in a melodious voice. "I have been waiting for you. I know you have traveled far, and you have shown kindness to others along the way. You may ask me one question, and I will grant you one wish." Finnegan was amazed. He thought carefully about what he should ask. He could wish for fame, riches, or even to be the wisest fox in the world. But as he thought about his journey, he remembered Squeaky, Daisy, and all the creatures he had met along the way. He realized that helping others had made him happier than anything else. Finnegan took a deep breath and said, "Golden Phoenix, I wish for the power to continue helping others. I want to use my cleverness and kindness to make the forest a better place for everyone." The Golden Phoenix's eyes shone with approval. "Your wish is truly noble, Finnegan. From this day forward, you will have the ability to speak all the languages of the forest creatures, so you can help them in times of need. You will also have the wisdom to solve even the trickiest problems." With a graceful nod of its head, the phoenix shed another golden feather, which floated down to Finnegan's paws. "Take this feather as a symbol of your kindness and the magic that now resides within you," the phoenix said. Finnegan thanked the golden phoenix with all his heart. He felt a new sense of purpose and joy as he carefully placed the golden feather behind his ear. With a final bow to the majestic bird, he turned and made his way back down Crystal Mountain. From that day on, Finnegan used his gift to help everyone he met. He became known as the clever fox of the forest, a friend to all creatures. Whenever an animal was in trouble, they knew they could count on Finnegan to help them. His kindness and wisdom spread far and wide, making the forest a place of peace and harmony. And so, the legend of Finnegan, the clever fox, and the golden feather was told for generations. It became a story that reminded everyone, both young and old, that true happiness comes from helping others and that the greatest treasure of all is a kind heart. The end. Once upon a time, in a distant kingdom called Luminera, there was a magnificent castle perched high atop a hill. This castle was no ordinary fortress. It was built entirely of crystal, and it shimmered with all the colors of the rainbow whenever the sun rose or set. The castle was said to hold a great secret, a magical crystal heart that kept the kingdom prosperous and peaceful. But the heart had not been seen for generations, and only the royal family knew of its exact location. In the nearby village of Glimmerwood, there lived a humble young girl named Avalini. Avalini was known for her kindness and her love for stories of magic and adventure. She often helped the villagers with their daily tasks and cared for the animals in the forest. But what made Avalini truly special was her ability to see the good in everyone, even in the darkest of places. One day, as Avalini was gathering herbs in the forest, she stumbled upon a mysterious old woman who was struggling to carry a heavy basket. Without hesitation, Avalini rushed to help her. The old woman, grateful for Avalini's kindness, revealed herself to be a powerful enchantress in disguise. "You have a pure heart, dear child," said the enchantress. "And for your kindness, I will share with you a secret. The crystal heart of Luminera is in danger. It has been hidden away in the castle, but its light is fading. If the heart's light goes out completely, the kingdom will fall into darkness. You must find the heart and restore its light, but beware, the journey will be filled with challenges." Avalini, though surprised, felt a sense of duty to save her kingdom. She asked the enchantress how she could find the crystal heart. The enchantress handed her a small, glowing compass. "This compass will guide you," the enchantress explained. "It will point the way, but it will not be easy. You will need courage, wisdom, and compassion to succeed." With the compass in hand, Avalini set off toward the castle. As she approached the crystal gates, the compass began to glow brighter, guiding her to a hidden passage at the base of the hill. The passage led to the first of 3 trials, the trial of courage. Avalini entered a vast chamber filled with mirrors that reflected not only her image but also her fears and doubts. The reflections whispered harsh words, trying to dishearten her. But Avalini closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and remembered the good she had seen in the world. With newfound strength, she walked forward, unafraid of the illusions. The mirrors shattered, revealing a door to the next trial. The second trial was the trial of wisdom. Avalini found herself in a grand library, its shelves filled with ancient books and scrolls. In the center of the room stood a pedestal with a single book titled The Key to the Heart. But the book was locked, and next to it lay 3 keys of different colors: gold, silver, and bronze. A riddle was inscribed on the pedestal: I open with the key of least value but greatest worth. Choose wisely. Avellini pondered the riddle, recalling stories of kings who valued riches above all else, only to lose what truly mattered. She realized that the greatest worth often lay in humility. Trusting her instincts, she chose the bronze key and unlocked the book. The pages revealed the next step of her journey and a secret passage leading deeper into the castle. The final trial was the trial of compassion. Avellini entered a beautiful garden, but it was wilted and gray, as if all life had been drained from it. In the center of the garden was a tree, its branches drooping sadly. Beneath the tree, a small, injured bird lay on the ground, barely moving. Without hesitation, Avellini rushed to the bird's side. She gently picked it up, cradling it in her hands. The bird's eyes fluttered open, and as Avellini spoke to it softly, the garden began to revive. Flowers bloomed, the tree straightened, and color returned to the once gray surroundings. The bird, now healed, flew up to the tree and sang a melodious song. The song caused a hidden door at the base of the tree to open, revealing a staircase leading down to the heart of the castle. Avellini descended the staircase and found herself in a chamber made entirely of crystal. In the center, on a pedestal, was the crystal heart. But the heart's light was faint, flickering like a dying ember. Avellini approached it and placed her hands on the heart, closing her eyes and focusing on all the love, kindness, and hope she had witnessed throughout her life. The crystal heart responded to her pure intentions, and its light began to grow, filling the chamber with a warm, radiant glow. The light spread throughout the castle, and from there, across the entire kingdom of Luminera. The people of Luminera, feeling the heart's warmth, rejoiced as peace and prosperity were restored. Avellini returned to the village as a hero, though she remained as humble as ever. The enchantress appeared once more, blessing Avellini for her bravery and telling her that the crystal heart would now remain strong as long as the kingdom cherished the values of courage, wisdom, and compassion. And so, Avellini's story became legend, a tale of a girl who saved her kingdom not with power or might, but with the purity of her heart. Luminera thrived, bathed in the eternal light of the crystal heart, and its people lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a land of eternal twilight, there was a hidden glen known as Luminera. Luminera was a magical forest where fireflies danced in the dusky light and flowers glowed softly under the moon's gaze. This enchanted place was ruled by the Firefly Queen, a luminous and graceful being named Elara. She was tasked with ensuring the balance of light and dark in the forest, and her most precious duty was to protect the Midnight Blossom, a rare flower that only bloomed once every 100 years under the full moon. The Midnight Blossom was said to possess extraordinary powers. It could bring peace to troubled hearts, heal the gravest of ailments, and even grant a single wish to those who truly needed it. Elara guarded the blossom with great care, knowing that its magic could be both wondrous and perilous if misused. One evening, as the full moon approached, Elara prepared for the blossom's rare bloom. She lit lanterns of stardust, arranged the petals of protective flowers around the Midnight Blossom, and summoned the forest creatures to keep watch. But as the night grew deeper, a strange shadow fell over Luminera. A dark figure emerged from the trees, a sorcerer named Morven, whose heart was consumed by greed and envy. Morven had heard of the Midnight Blossom's powers and desired it for himself. His goal was to use the flower's magic to control the entire forest and bend it to his will. As the moonlight reached its peak, Morven stealthily approached the blossom, intent on stealing it. Elara sensed the disturbance and, with a flicker of worry in her heart, turned to her loyal fireflies. "We must protect the Midnight Blossom. I fear a great danger approaches." The fireflies, glowing brighter in their determination, formed a protective barrier around the blossom. Morven, however, was cunning and used his dark magic to create illusions that distracted the fireflies and the forest creatures. He moved closer, his fingers reaching for the precious flower. But as Morven was about to grasp the Midnight Blossom, a young girl named Lyra stumbled into the clearing. Lyra was a humble village girl who had wandered into the forest searching for her lost cat. She had no idea of the magical struggle occurring around her. Her innocent presence, however, was about to turn the tide. Lyra's cat, a clever creature named Pip, had followed her into the forest and saw the danger. Pip meowed loudly and darted toward the fireflies, guiding Lyra to the glowing scene. Lyra, realizing the gravity of the situation, felt a surge of courage. She saw the sorcerer's dark intentions and knew she had to help. With a determined heart, Lyra approached Morven and spoke bravely, "You cannot take what does not belong to you. The Midnight Blossom is meant to heal and bring hope, not to control." Morven sneered and tried to push her aside with a wave of his hand, but Lyra stood her ground. "Please, listen. If you truly need something, perhaps there is another way." Ilara, observing Lyra's bravery and pure heart, saw a chance to stop Morven without conflict. She fluttered to Lyra and whispered, "You have shown great courage and kindness. If you wish, you may use the Midnight Blossom's magic to help him instead." Lyra, though frightened, nodded. "If there is a way to change his heart and help him find peace, then I will use it." Ilara guided Lyra to the Midnight Blossom and instructed her to make a sincere wish for Morven's redemption. Lyra closed her eyes and whispered softly, "I wish for Morven to find the peace he seeks and to use his powers for good." As Lyra spoke, the Midnight Blossom's petals opened wide, releasing a soft, golden light. The light enveloped Morven, and he felt a profound sense of calm and clarity. The darkness in his heart began to dissolve, and he was overwhelmed with remorse for his actions. Morven fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. "I have been blinded by my own greed. I see now that true power lies in compassion and kindness. Forgive me." Ilara, seeing the change in Morven, approached him. "You have been given a chance to change. Use it wisely." Morven stood up, humbled and transformed. He vowed to help protect Luminera and use his magic for the benefit of others. The forest creatures, fireflies, and Ilara welcomed him into their fold, and together, they worked to restore harmony to the forest. Lyra, with Pip safely by her side, was celebrated as a hero in Luminera. The Midnight Blossom's magic continued to shine brightly, bringing peace and healing to all who needed it. Ilara and the fireflies continued to guard the blossom, ensuring its magic was used for good. And so, the Forest of Whispers thrived, filled with light, hope, and the promise of new beginnings. The tale of the Firefly Queen, the Midnight Blossom, and the brave girl who saved the forest became a cherished story, passed down through generations as a reminder of the power of courage, kindness, and the magic of a pure heart. Once upon a time, in the heart of a vast kingdom where meadows stretched as far as the eye could see, there was a hidden village named Starbrook. This village was renowned for its beauty, particularly its garden, which was said to bloom only under the light of the full moon. The garden was filled with flowers of every color, their petals glowing softly in the moonlight. In Starbrook lived a kind and curious girl named Ivy. Ivy was known for her love of nature and her fascination with the magical garden. She often wondered about the origin of the garden's enchantment. The villagers spoke in hushed tones about the garden's mysterious past, and Ivy's curiosity only grew stronger. One evening, as the full moon rose high in the sky, casting its silver glow over Starbrook, Ivy decided it was time to uncover the truth. She slipped out of her cozy cottage and made her way to the garden, which was bathed in the soft, ethereal light of the moon. As she wandered through the moonlit flowers, Ivy noticed a path she had never seen before. It was lined with delicate, glowing stones that seemed to lead deeper into the garden. With a sense of wonder, she followed the path until she reached a secluded corner of the garden where an ancient, gnarled tree stood. The tree was unlike any Ivy had seen before. Its branches were twisted into intricate shapes, and its leaves shimmered like silver. At the base of the tree was a small, ornate door, barely noticeable among the roots and undergrowth. Ivy's heart raced with excitement. Could this be the key to the garden's mystery? With a gentle push, Ivy opened the door. It creaked softly and revealed a narrow staircase leading down into the earth. Taking a deep breath, she descended the steps, her footsteps echoing in the quiet darkness. At the bottom, she found herself in a hidden chamber illuminated by the soft, golden light of dozens of glowing lanterns. In the center of the chamber was an elegant table covered with old, dusty books and scrolls. Atop the table lay a magnificent, silver pendant in the shape of a crescent moon. Ivy reached out and touched the pendant, and as she did, a soft voice filled the room. "Welcome, Ivy. I have been expecting you," said the voice, which belonged to a graceful figure emerging from the shadows. It was a beautiful fairy with wings that sparkled like the night sky. "I am Luna, the guardian of the moonlit garden. Long ago, this garden was blessed by the moon goddess to protect a powerful secret. The pendant you see before you is the key to unlocking that secret." Ivy's eyes widened in awe. "What secret does the garden hold?" Luna smiled warmly. The garden's enchantment was created to protect a magical artifact known as the Heart of the Moon. It has the power to bring harmony and balance to the world. However, the heart has been hidden for centuries to keep it safe from those who might use its power for mischief. Luna handed Ivy the pendant. The Heart of the Moon is hidden in a place where light and shadow meet. Only one with a pure heart and unwavering courage can find it. With this pendant, you have the power to uncover its location. Ivy accepted the pendant, feeling its warmth and energy. "How will I know where to look?" "The pendant will guide you," Luna explained. "It responds to the moonlight and will lead you to the heart. Follow its light, and trust in your heart's guidance." With a grateful nod, Ivy left the chamber and ascended the staircase. The pendant glowed softly around her neck, guiding her through the garden's winding paths. As she walked, she noticed that the pendant's light grew brighter and more focused. Following the pendant's glow, Ivy reached a secluded grove where the moonlight streamed down through the branches in a perfect, silver beam. At the center of the grove stood a large, ancient stone with an inscription. Ivy read the inscription aloud, which revealed a riddle: "To find the heart of the moon, you must seek where light and shadow dance in tune. Where the moon's touch is gentle and kind, there the heart's true light you'll find." Ivy looked around and noticed that the moonlight created a shimmering pattern on the ground where the light and shadows intertwined. She carefully stepped onto the illuminated area, and the stone began to shift, revealing a hidden compartment beneath it. Inside the compartment lay a stunning, crystal-clear orb that seemed to pulse with a soft, silver light. Ivy carefully lifted the orb, feeling its gentle warmth. The moment she touched it, the entire garden seemed to come alive with an even more vibrant glow, and the flower's light grew brighter and more vivid. Luna appeared beside her, a look of satisfaction on her face. "You have found the heart of the moon. Its magic will bring peace and balance to the world, and its protection will ensure the garden's beauty for generations to come." Ivy returned to the village with the heart of the moon, and the garden's magic was shared with all of Starbrook. The village thrived under the garden's enchantment, and the moonlit blooms became even more radiant and enchanting. The legend of Ivy's bravery and the Heart of the Moon became a cherished tale in Starbrook, inspiring others to seek out their own adventures with courage and an open heart. And so, under the light of the moon, Starbrook flourished, its beauty and magic lasting for many generations to come. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a quaint kingdom named Leora, nestled between rolling green hills and a winding river, there was a village known for its spectacular lantern festival. Every year, during the autumn equinox, the villagers would light lanterns and release them into the night sky, creating a breathtaking display of floating lights that danced among the stars. At the edge of the village lived a humble young woman named Arya. Arya was known for her gentle spirit and her gift for crafting beautiful lanterns. She lived with her grandfather, who had once been a renowned lantern maker but was now too frail to continue his craft. Arya's greatest wish was to create a lantern so beautiful that it would bring joy to her grandfather's heart and honor his legacy. One crisp autumn evening, as the village prepared for the festival, Arya discovered an old, dusty book in her grandfather's workshop. The book was filled with intricate designs and tales of a legendary lantern known as the Lantern of Leora. According to the book, this lantern had the power to light up the darkest night and grant a single, heartfelt wish to the person who created it. Excited and determined, Arya decided to make the Lantern of Leora for the festival. The book mentioned that the lantern required 3 special ingredients: moonlight silk, stardust crystals, and a drop of morning dew. Each ingredient was hidden in a different magical place within the kingdom, and Arya knew she had to embark on a quest to find them. The first ingredient, moonlight silk, was said to be found in the Moonlit Grove, a mystical forest where the trees glowed with the light of the moon. Arya ventured into the grove, following the silver glow of the moon. She soon encountered a wise old owl perched on a branch. The owl's eyes sparkled like stars. To find the moonlight silk, the owl said, "You must first solve the riddle of the grove." The riddle was, "I am not alive, yet I grow. I do not have lungs, yet I need air. I do not have a mouth, yet water kills me. What am I?" Arya thought carefully and answered, "Fire." The owl hooted in approval, and a path illuminated by moonlight revealed a hidden glade where delicate moonlight silk flowers grew. Arya gently gathered the silk, careful not to damage the blossoms. With the moonlight silk in hand, Arya set off in search of the stardust crystals. The book described that they could be found at the summit of Starfall Peak, a towering mountain that reached into the sky. Arya climbed the steep path, the air growing colder as she ascended. When she reached the peak, she was greeted by a dazzling display of falling stars. At the summit, a shimmering figure emerged, a celestial guardian with wings made of stardust. To obtain the stardust crystals, the guardian said, "You must show your worthiness by performing an act of kindness." Arya noticed a small, injured starling nestled among the rocks. With gentle hands, she cared for the bird, tending to its wounds and offering it warmth. The celestial guardian smiled and granted her a small pouch filled with stardust crystals. With 2 ingredients secured, Arya's final quest was to find the drop of morning dew. The book revealed that it could only be collected from the Whispering Meadow, a field where the dew gathered on the petals of rare, enchanted flowers that bloomed only at dawn. Arya arrived at the meadow early in the morning, just as the sun was rising. She carefully collected a single drop of dew from a glistening flower. As she did so, the flowers seemed to sing a soft, melodious tune, celebrating the arrival of the sun. Arya returned to the village with the 3 magical ingredients. She worked tirelessly through the night, crafting the Lantern of Leora with delicate care and precision. She wove the moonlight silk into the lantern's frame, embedded the stardust crystals into its design, and added the drop of morning dew to its center. As the festival night arrived, the villagers gathered in anticipation. Arya placed the completed lantern at the center of the village square and lit it. The lantern glowed with a warm, ethereal light, casting beautiful patterns on the ground and illuminating the night sky. The villagers were mesmerized by the Lantern of Leora, and the light it cast seemed to carry a sense of wonder and magic. Arya's grandfather, who had been watching from his home, was moved to tears by the sight. He felt a deep sense of pride and joy, knowing that his granddaughter had honored his legacy and brought a touch of magic to their village. As the lantern floated into the sky, it carried with it Arya's heartfelt wish to bring happiness and light to her grandfather and her village. The lantern's glow spread across the kingdom, bringing warmth and joy to everyone who saw it. From that night on, the Lantern of Leora became a cherished symbol in the village of Leora. It was a reminder that with courage, kindness, and a pure heart, even the darkest night could be illuminated with the light of dreams and love. In a distant land, nestled between the peaks of the misty mountains and the edge of the enchanted forest, there was a kingdom known as the Silver Glade. This kingdom was renowned for its breathtaking beauty, with silver streams flowing through lush meadows and trees that shimmered like diamonds under the sunlight. The heart of the kingdom was a majestic palace where King Cedric and Queen Alara ruled with wisdom and kindness. One day, the kingdom faced a grave threat. A dark sorcerer named Malachar, who dwelled in the Shadow Caves, coveted the magic of the Silver Glade and sought to claim it for himself. He had cast a spell that caused the silver streams to run dry and the trees to lose their sparkle. The once vibrant kingdom began to wither, and despair spread among the people. King Cedric, desperate to save his kingdom, consulted his wise advisor, the elderly wizard Alaric. Alaric revealed that the only way to restore the kingdom's magic was to find the Crystal of Light, a powerful gem hidden in the heart of the enchanted forest. However, the crystal was guarded by a series of mystical challenges that tested the heart and courage of those who sought it. Determined to save his kingdom, King Cedric announced a quest to find the Crystal of Light. The brave and kind-hearted Princess Aeliana, the king's daughter, volunteered to undertake the journey. She was known throughout the kingdom for her bravery and kindness, and her parents reluctantly agreed, trusting her to succeed where others might falter. With a heart full of hope and a sword of silver for protection, Aeliana set out into the enchanted forest. The forest was magical and alive with mysterious creatures. As she ventured deeper, she encountered her first challenge. Challenge 1. The Trial of the Golden Deer. Aeliana came upon a beautiful clearing where a golden deer with antlers that glowed like the sun stood by a crystal-clear pond. The deer spoke in a gentle voice, "To pass this trial, you must show your true heart. I am in search of a rare herb that will help heal my injured fawn. Will you assist me?" Aeliana agreed and, guided by the deer, searched the forest for the herb. Her kindness and patience led her to find the herb and return it to the golden deer. The deer, in gratitude, allowed her to pass and bestowed upon her a golden acorn, saying, "This acorn will light your path when darkness falls." Aeliana continued her journey, and as dusk approached, she encountered the second challenge. Challenge 2. The Trial of the Enchanted Bridge. In the fading light, she came upon an ancient bridge made of shimmering, woven vines. As she crossed it, the bridge began to sway and tremble. An ethereal voice spoke from the shadows, "To cross, you must confront your deepest fears." Aeliana was frightened but took a deep breath, focusing on the love she had for her kingdom and her determination to save it. As she walked across the swaying bridge, her courage and inner strength held the bridge steady, and she reached the other side safely. The final challenge lay ahead as she approached a grand, ancient tree at the heart of the forest. Challenge 3. The Trial of the Ancient Tree. The ancient tree, known as the Elder Oak, had a face carved into its trunk and spoke in a deep, resonant voice. "To retrieve the Crystal of Light, you must answer my riddle," said the tree. The riddle was, "I have cities, but no houses. I have mountains, but no trees. I have water, but no fish. What am I?" Aeliana thought carefully and replied, "A map." The Elder Oak's face brightened, and it revealed a hidden compartment within its trunk, containing a radiant crystal. The Crystal of Light sparkled with an intense, pure light. The tree said, "You have proven your worth. Take the crystal and restore your kingdom." With the Crystal of Light in hand, Aeliana made her way back to the silver glade. As she approached, the crystal's light began to shine brightly, revitalizing the silver streams and restoring the sparkle to the trees. The kingdom's magic was reborn, and joy returned to the people. King Cedric and Queen Alara welcomed Aeliana with pride and relief. The kingdom celebrated her bravery and kindness, and Malakar's dark magic was dispelled, banishing him from the land. To honor the bravery of Princess Aeliana and the return of the kingdom's magic, the Silver Glade held a grand festival, where the skies were lit with fireworks, and the silver streams flowed with renewed brilliance. The Crystal of Light was placed in a sacred chamber within the palace, serving as a symbol of hope and resilience. Princess Aeliana's journey became a cherished tale told throughout the kingdom, a reminder of the power of courage, kindness, and the magic that resides in the heart of those who dare to dream and act selflessly. And so, the Silver Glade thrived once more, bathed in light and laughter, as its people lived happily ever after. The end. Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by tall mountains and deep forests, lived a young girl named Alara. Alara was known throughout the village for her kindness and the beautiful songs she sang. Her voice was so sweet that even the birds would stop chirping to listen to her. Every morning, Alara would sing as she helped her mother with the chores, and her songs filled the air with joy. One sunny afternoon, as Alara was gathering wildflowers in the meadow, she saw a glimmer of light coming from the edge of the forest. Curious, she followed the light and found a small, clear pond. The light was coming from something lying at the bottom of the pond. Alara reached into the water and pulled out a mirror. It was a small, round mirror with a frame made of gold and decorated with tiny jewels. The mirror shone so brightly in the sunlight that Alara could hardly look at it. As Alara gazed into the mirror, she noticed something strange. Instead of her own reflection, she saw the image of an old woman with kind eyes and a warm smile. Alara gasped and almost dropped the mirror. The old woman in the mirror spoke. "Do not be afraid, dear child," she said. "I am the fairy of the mirror, and I have been trapped in this pond for many years. By finding me, you have broken the spell that kept me here." Alara was amazed. She had never met a fairy before. "How can I help you?" she asked. The fairy of the mirror smiled. "You have already helped me by freeing me from the pond. Now, I wish to grant you a gift as a token of my gratitude. This mirror is magical. It can show you the true nature of any person's heart. If you look into the mirror while thinking of someone, you will see whether their heart is kind and pure or filled with darkness and deceit. Use it wisely, dear Alara, for not everyone is as kind as you." With that, the fairy's image faded, and the mirror showed only Alara's reflection. Alara was overjoyed and thanked the fairy, promising to use the mirror for good. She slipped the mirror into her pocket and hurried back home, her heart light and happy. Days went by, and Alara kept the mirror with her, but she didn't use it. She was content with her simple life in the village, singing and helping her mother. One day, however, a stranger came to the village. He was a tall man with a charming smile, dressed in fine clothes, and riding a beautiful horse. The villagers were impressed by his appearance and welcomed him warmly. He introduced himself as Lord Malvin, a wealthy nobleman from a faraway land. Lord Malvin claimed he was looking for a new place to build his castle, and he promised to bring wealth and prosperity to the village. The villagers were excited and eager to help him, but Alara felt uneasy. There was something about Lord Malvin's smile that made her shiver. That night, as she sat by her window, she remembered the fairy's gift. She decided to use the mirror to see Lord Malvin's true nature. Holding the mirror in her hands, Alara thought of Lord Malvin and looked into the mirror. To her horror, the mirror showed a heart as black as coal, surrounded by thick, dark shadows. In the reflection, Lord Malvin's charming smile turned into a wicked grin, and his eyes glowed with greed. Alara realized that Lord Malvin was not who he seemed to be. He was a deceitful man who only wanted to take advantage of the village and its people. Alara knew she had to warn the villagers, but she wasn't sure if they would believe her. She decided to go to the village elder, a wise woman named Matilda, who had always been kind to her. Alara showed Matilda the mirror and told her what she had seen. Matilda listened carefully and believed Alara's story. Together, they came up with a plan to reveal Lord Malvin's true nature to the villagers. The next morning, Matilda called all the villagers to the village square. She announced that there would be a celebration to welcome Lord Malvin, and everyone was invited. As the villagers gathered, Alara stood quietly at the back, holding the mirror in her hands. When Lord Malvin arrived, smiling and waving to everyone, Matilda stepped forward. "Welcome, Lord Malvin," Matilda said. "We are honored to have you here. As a token of our appreciation, we would like to offer you a gift." She signaled to Alara, who stepped forward and held up the mirror. "This mirror will show us the true nature of your heart," Matilda said. "Please, look into it and let us see." Lord Malvin hesitated for a moment, but then he laughed and said, "Of course, I have nothing to hide." He looked into the mirror, and suddenly, his smile vanished. The villagers gasped as they saw the dark, twisted reflection in the mirror. Lord Malvin's true nature was revealed for all to see. His eyes turned cold, and his face twisted with anger. He tried to snatch the mirror from Alara's hands, but Matilda stepped in front of her, holding up her staff. "Leave this village at once, Lord Malvin," Matilda said firmly. "We know your true intentions. You will not harm our people." Realizing that his deception had been uncovered, Lord Malvin snarled in rage. He turned and fled, riding away from the village and never looking back. The villagers cheered and praised Alara for her bravery and wisdom. They were grateful to her for saving them from Lord Malvin's deceit. From that day on, Elara became known as the guardian of the village. She used the magical mirror to protect her people and to help those in need. The mirror, with its golden frame and jewel-studded edges, became a symbol of truth and kindness. Years passed, and Elara grew up to be a wise and beloved woman, always singing her sweet psalms and bringing joy to the village. The tale of the magical mirror was told for generations, reminding everyone that true beauty comes from within and that a kind heart is the most valuable treasure of all. And so, the village thrived in peace and happiness, thanks to the courage of a young girl who dared to see the truth and stand up for what was right. And the magical mirror remained a cherished heirloom, passed down through the generations, always ready to reveal the true nature of the heart. The end. Once upon a time, in a village nestled between rolling hills and a vast, starry sky, there was a tale that parents told their children each night. It was the legend of the Lantern of the Lost Stars, a magical lantern said to have the power to bring light to even the darkest night and guide lost souls back home. In this village lived a brave young girl named Elara. She had always been fascinated by the stars and the stories of the lantern. Her grandmother had once told her that the lantern was hidden in the heart of the Whispering Forest, a place where ancient trees could talk and time seemed to move differently. It was said that the lantern could only be found by someone who truly believed in the magic of the stars. One evening, as a particularly dark and stormy night approached, Elara saw the villagers growing worried. The stars had been hidden behind thick clouds for days, and many people had lost their way. Determined to help, Elara decided it was time to find the Lantern of the Lost Stars and restore the village's hope. The first challenge, the Whispering Forest. As the storm raged, Elara set out for the Whispering Forest. The wind howled through the trees, making the journey even more treacherous. When she entered the forest, she noticed that the trees were covered in glistening dew, and their leaves rustled softly as if whispering secrets. A soft voice emerged from the shadows. To find the Lantern of the Lost Stars, it said, you must seek the Tree of Echoes. It will show you the way, but only if you listen closely to its song. Elara listened carefully to the sounds around her. The forest seemed alive with melodies and whispers. After a while, she heard a faint but steady tune coming from a towering oak tree with golden leaves. This was the Tree of Echoes. Elara approached the tree and placed her hand on its trunk. The tree's bark felt warm and alive. As she listened, she realized that the song was a guide to a hidden path illuminated by soft, twinkling lights. Following this path, Elara soon discovered a small, ancient stone archway that led deeper into the forest. The second challenge, the Enchanted Stream. Passing through the stone archway, Elara arrived at an enchanted stream, its water glowing with a soft blue light. The stream wound through the forest like a ribbon of light. On the far side of the stream, a shimmering figure emerged, a water sprite named Seraphina. To continue your quest, Seraphina said, you must cross the stream without disturbing the water's surface. Only then will you find the next clue. Elara took a deep breath and stepped onto the stones that formed a path across the stream. She moved with great care, placing each foot gently and avoiding the glowing fish that swam beneath the surface. The sprite watched silently but smiled approvingly as Elara reached the other side. At the edge of the stream was a small, beautifully carved wooden box. Inside the box was a silver key with intricate patterns resembling constellations. Elara took the key, knowing it would be important for her journey. The third challenge, the Starry Cavern. With the key in hand, Elara continued through the forest until she came upon a hidden cave entrance. The cave was illuminated by 1,000 glowing crystals that mimicked the stars. As she ventured inside, she saw the walls covered in ancient star maps and celestial charts. In the heart of the cave was a pedestal with a locked chest. Elara used the silver key, and the chest opened with a soft click. Inside the chest was a delicate lantern made of silver and adorned with tiny gemstones that sparkled like stars. This was the Lantern of the Lost Stars. Just as Elara reached for the lantern, a soft voice echoed through the cavern. It was the voice of the Guardian of the Stars, a majestic figure with a robe of shimmering stardust. You have proven your bravery and belief, the guardian said. The lantern is now yours to wield. It will bring light to those in darkness and guide them back home. Iloan thanked the guardian and carefully carried the lantern out of the cave. As she emerged, the storm had begun to clear, and the first stars were beginning to appear through the clouds. Return to the village. Iloan returned to the village with the lantern of the lost stars glowing softly in her hands. The lantern's light was gentle but powerful, and as she walked through the village, its light began to spread, banishing the darkness and bringing a warm, comforting glow. The villagers gathered around, amazed as the stars began to shine brightly in the sky once more. The lantern's light not only guided lost souls but also rekindled hope in everyone's hearts. People began to find their way home, and the village was filled with joy and relief. Iloan's bravery and determination had restored the village's light and hope. The lantern of the lost stars became a symbol of the village's spirit, a reminder that even in the darkest times, light and hope could always be found. From that day on, Iloan was known as the girl who brought back the stars and guided her village through the darkness. The tale of her adventure in the magical lantern became a cherished story, passed down through generations as a reminder of the power of courage, belief, and the enduring magic of the stars. And so, under the bright and beautiful stars, the village of Everglow thrived, and Iloan's story continued to inspire hope and wonder for years to come. Once upon a time, in a bustling village where the streets echoed with the sound of laughter and the clattering of horse-drawn carts, there lived a humble clockmaker named Mr. Heron. Mr. Heron was a master of his craft, known far and wide for creating the most beautiful clocks, ones that not only told time but captured moments of joy in their gentle chimes. He had a daughter named Isla, a clever girl with a heart as curious as it was kind. Isla loved to watch her father work, the whirring gears and ticking hands of the clocks mesmerizing her. Every day, she'd sit beside him, asking questions about how time moved and why the clocks ticked the way they did. One evening, as the stars began to sparkle over the village, a mysterious customer came to their shop. He was cloaked in a deep green robe, and though his face was hidden beneath a hood, his voice was rich and melodic. "I hear you are the best clockmaker in the land," the stranger said to Mr. Heron. "I need a clock, but not an ordinary one. I need a clock that can stop time, if only for a moment." Mr. Heron was taken aback. "A clock that can stop time?" he asked. "Such a thing is beyond any craftsman's skill." The stranger's eyes gleamed beneath his hood. "Perhaps. But you may find the magic within if you search deep enough." With that, the stranger left a small, intricately carved silver key on the counter. "This is for the clock you will make," he said before vanishing into the night. Mr. Heron was unsettled by the stranger's request, but Isla was filled with excitement. "Father," she whispered, "what if we could make such a clock? What if there's a way to harness time itself?" Mr. Heron, though reluctant, couldn't deny Isla's eagerness. Together, they began to work on the clock, using their finest gears and materials. But no matter what they did, they couldn't figure out how to create a clock that could stop time. One night, while Mr. Heron slept, Isla sat alone in the workshop, gazing at the unfinished clock. In the dim light, the silver key the stranger had left seemed to glow faintly. Curious, Isla took the key and held it to the clock's face, turning it gently. To her amazement, the clock began to glow, and the ticking sound grew louder. Then, suddenly, everything around her stopped: the breeze outside, the flickering candlelight, even the ticking of the other clocks in the workshop. Time itself had frozen. For a moment, Isla stood in awe. She had stopped time. But then she heard a soft voice behind her. "Well done, Isla," said the voice. She turned to see the mysterious stranger standing in the doorway, now with his hood drawn back, revealing a kind face with silver hair and deep green eyes. "Who are you?" Isla asked, still holding the silver key in her hand. "I am a guardian of time," the stranger explained. "I sought out your father, but it was you I truly needed. You have the heart and mind to control time, even if just for a moment. But remember, time is delicate. It cannot be paused for too long, or there will be consequences. Isla nodded, still overwhelmed by the power she held. The stranger continued, "There will come a time when you must decide whether to use this gift again. When that moment comes, listen to your heart." With those words, the stranger vanished, leaving Isla alone in the stillness. The next morning, time resumed as usual, and Isla didn't tell her father about what had happened. She kept the silver key hidden in her pocket and continued helping him with the clocks, all the while knowing that she held a secret, a powerful gift that could only be used when truly necessary. Years passed, and the village continued to thrive. Isla grew older, becoming a skilled clockmaker like her father. But one day, trouble came to their peaceful village. A terrible storm struck, flooding the rivers and causing chaos. People were left without homes, and there wasn't enough time to rebuild before winter came. The villagers gathered in the square, desperate for a solution, but none could think of a way to fix the damage in time. As Isla listened to their pleas, she felt the weight of the silver key in her pocket. She remembered the stranger's words, "There will come a time when you must decide whether to use this gift again." With her heart pounding, Isla made her decision. That night, when the moon was high, she went to the village clock tower. She climbed to the top, where the great clock that overlooked the town stood tall, its hands ticking steadily toward the future. With the silver key in her hand, Isla inserted it into the face of the clock and turned it. The clock stopped ticking, and once again, time froze. For days, while the rest of the world remained frozen, Isla worked tirelessly with her father and the villagers. They rebuilt the homes, mended the bridges, and prepared the village for the coming winter. Though the sun never rose during this time, Isla felt a sense of peace as they worked together, knowing that when time resumed, the village would be safe. At last, when the work was done, Isla returned to the clock tower. She took a deep breath and turned the silver key once more. Time began to flow again. The villagers blinked, unaware that anything had happened. To them, no time had passed at all, but their village was now safe and ready for winter. Mr. Heron looked around in awe. "How is this possible?" he asked, turning to Isla. Isla smiled gently and handed him the silver key. "Sometimes, time gives us a second chance." From that day on, Isla's secret remained safe, and the village prospered. She kept the silver key hidden, knowing that it was not the key itself but the heart that chose when to use it that truly mattered. And so, the enchanted clockmaker's daughter became a legend in her village, remembered not for her power to stop time, but for her wisdom to use it when it was needed most. And they all lived happily ever after. In the heart of a lush forest stood a towering oak tree known as the Whispering Tree. Legends spoke of its ancient magic and the secrets it held. Villagers from the nearby town of Greenhaven often told tales of the tree's ability to grant wishes, but only to those who were truly deserving. One bright spring morning, a young girl named Alara woke up to find her beloved pet rabbit, Clover, missing. Clover was not just a pet but her best friend, and Alara was devastated. She searched high and low around Greenhaven but found no sign of Clover. Remembering the stories of the Whispering Tree, she decided to seek its help. Alara packed a small bag with essentials, a sandwich, a bottle of water, and a cozy blanket. As she ventured into the forest, the birds chirped a cheerful melody, and the sunbeams filtered through the canopy, creating patterns on the forest floor. The forest seemed alive with magic, and Alara felt a sense of hope as she moved deeper. After a while, she reached the Whispering Tree. Its massive trunk was adorned with intricate carvings, and its branches seemed to sway rhythmically, even though there was no breeze. Alara approached the tree and placed her hand on its rough bark. "Whispering Tree," she said softly, "I am Alara from Greenhaven. My rabbit Clover is missing, and I need your help to find him." The tree responded with a gentle rustling of its leaves, and a soft, melodious voice emerged from within. "To find what you seek, you must complete 3 challenges. Only then will the path to your beloved Clover be revealed." Alara nodded, determined to face whatever trials lay ahead. The tree's voice continued, "The first challenge is the Trial of Echoes." Trial of Echoes. The Whispering Tree pointed with a branch towards a grove where echoes of every sound seemed to bounce around. Elara entered the grove, where the echoes created confusing paths and illusions. To pass this trial, she needed to find her way to the center of the grove where a silver bell hung from a branch. Elara closed her eyes and focused on the echoes. She listened to the rhythm of the sounds, which began to form a pattern. Following the pattern, she navigated through the grove and reached the bell. She rang it gently, and the echoes began to harmonize, guiding her back to the whispering tree. "Well done," the tree's voice said. "Now for the Trial of Shadows." Trial of Shadows. Elara was led to a dark cavern where shadows danced and shifted unpredictably. Inside, a large shadowy figure loomed, its form ever-changing. To succeed, she needed to find and light 3 enchanted lanterns hidden in the cavern. Elara noticed that the shadowy figure moved according to the shadows cast by the lanterns. By carefully following the movement of the shadows and lighting the lanterns in the correct order, she dispelled the darkness and revealed the path forward. The cavern brightened, and the shadowy figure disappeared. "You have shown great perseverance," the tree's voice said. "Now, the final trial, the trial of compassion." Trial of compassion. The whispering tree led Elara to a meadow where a small, injured deer lay. The deer's leg was caught in a hunter's trap, and it looked up at Elara with sad eyes. To complete this trial, Elara had to free the deer and tend to its wounds. Elara approached the deer carefully, speaking softly to soothe it. With gentle hands, she opened the trap and freed the deer. Using her blanket and some herbs she had gathered along the way, she treated its wounds. The deer nuzzled her gratefully, and its eyes sparkled with appreciation. As the final trial was complete, the whispering tree's branches shook with joy, and the ground around Elara began to glow softly. A hidden path appeared, leading to a small clearing. In the center of the clearing was a cozy burrow, and there, nestled inside, was Clover. Elara rushed to Clover, hugging him tightly. The rabbit looked up at her with bright, happy eyes, as if to say, "Thank you for finding me." The whispering tree's voice once again filled the air. "You have proven yourself to be kind, brave, and wise. The magic of the whispering tree is now yours to carry. Remember, it is not just in grand deeds but in the small acts of kindness that true magic is found." Elara thanked the whispering tree and made her way back to Greenhaven with Clover. The villagers were amazed by her adventure and celebrated her return. The tale of Elara's journey and the trials of the whispering tree became a cherished story in the town, a reminder of the magic that dwells within acts of bravery, wisdom, and compassion. Elara continued to live her life in Greenhaven, always carrying the lessons she learned from the whispering tree. She never forgot the magical forest that had guided her and the whispers of the tree that had helped her find her dear Clover. And so, the whispering tree stood tall in the heart of the forest, waiting for the next worthy soul to seek its guidance and learn the true magic of kindness and courage. The end. In a cozy village nestled between emerald hills and shimmering lakes, there was an old, mysterious lantern that hung at the edge of the forest. The lantern, known as the Midnight Lantern, was said to glow with a soft, magical light only when the moon was full. It was a cherished treasure of the village, though no one truly understood its magic. The lantern was cared for by an elderly woman named Elda, who lived in a quaint cottage nearby. Elda was known for her kindness and wisdom, and she loved to tell stories about the lantern and its origins. Every full moon, she would light the lantern, and its gentle glow would spread across the village, guiding people safely home. One crisp autumn evening, a curious and brave girl named Lila decided she wanted to discover the lantern's true secret. Lila was fascinated by tales of magic and adventure, and she wondered if the lantern held a mystery waiting to be uncovered. That night, under the light of a full moon, Lila quietly left her home and made her way to the lantern. She saw Elda standing beside it, her eyes twinkling with a knowing smile. Lila approached her and asked, "Elda, can you tell me more about the Midnight Lantern? I want to know its secret." Elda looked at Lila with a thoughtful expression. "The Midnight Lantern holds a magic that can only be unlocked by someone with a pure heart and a true spirit of adventure. If you wish to uncover its secret, you must first pass 3 trials." Lila's eyes widened with excitement. "I'm ready. What are the trials?" Elda nodded and began. The first trial is the trial of the brave heart. You must venture into the enchanted forest and find the moonflower that blooms only under the full moon. Trial 1, the moonflower. The enchanted forest was a place of mystery, with trees that whispered and paths that seemed to shift. Lila entered the forest, guided by the moonlight that filtered through the canopy. She wandered deeper, listening for any signs of the moonflower. After a while, Lila came across a small clearing where the moonlight bathed the ground in a silvery glow. There, in the center, was the moonflower, a beautiful blossom with petals that shimmered like stardust. As Lila approached, she noticed that the flower's stem was tangled in a thorny vine. With careful hands, Lila freed the flower and held it gently. As she did, the moonflower's petals glowed brightly, and the forest seemed to sigh in relief. She felt a sense of accomplishment as she made her way back to the lantern. Trial 2, the Trial of Wisdom. The second trial was the Trial of Wisdom. Elda handed Lila an old, weathered book with a golden cover. This book contains riddles and puzzles that guard the path to the heart of the lantern. Solve them, and you will proceed. Lila opened the book and found a series of riddles written in flowing script. Each riddle led her deeper into the forest, where she encountered magical creatures and hidden clues. One riddle was, I have cities but no houses, I have mountains but no trees, I have water but no fish. What am I? Lila pondered the riddle and realized the answer was map. With the solution, a path appeared before her, leading to a small, hidden grotto. Inside the grotto was a shimmering pool of water. Lila took a deep breath and dipped her hand into the pool. The water sparkled, and a hidden chamber emerged, filled with ancient scrolls and symbols. She studied the symbols and used her newfound knowledge to unlock a small, ornate chest, which contained a beautiful, crystal vial. Trial 3, the Trial of the True Heart. The final trial was the Trial of the True Heart. Elda explained that Lila needed to use the crystal vial to capture a drop of moonlight and pour it into the midnight lantern. Only with a heart full of pure intentions can you capture the moonlight. Lila climbed to the highest hill overlooking the village. As the moon reached its zenith, she held the vial out, catching a drop of moonlight. The vial glowed softly with the captured light. With a steady hand, Lila returned to the lantern. As she poured the moonlight into the lantern, it began to glow with a brilliant, shimmering light. The lantern's magic surged, and a soft, ethereal light spread across the village, creating a dazzling display of colors in the night sky. The midnight lantern's light revealed a hidden door beneath its base. Lila opened the door and found a small, enchanted garden filled with glowing flowers, singing streams, and sparkling fireflies. In the center of the garden was a majestic tree with golden leaves that seemed to whisper secrets. Elda appeared beside Lila and smiled warmly. You have proven your bravery, wisdom, and pure heart. The midnight lantern's magic is now fully awakened, and this garden is a gift to you. Lila explored the enchanted garden, feeling a deep sense of wonder and peace. She realized that the garden was a place of beauty and magic meant to be shared with others. Returning to the village, Lila shared her adventure with the villagers. They were amazed and grateful, and the midnight lantern's glow continued to guide and inspire them. The enchanted garden became a place of joy and wonder, where people came to celebrate the magic of the night. And so, the tale of Lila and the midnight lantern became a cherished story in the village, a reminder of the magic that can be unlocked by a pure heart and a true spirit of adventure. The lantern's light continued to shine brightly, illuminating the path for those who sought to discover the wonders hidden in the world. In a land where rolling hills met shimmering lakes, there was a village called Eldoria, known for its serene beauty and starry nights. Eldoria was famous for its enchanting starry lake, a magical place where the reflections of the stars danced on the water's surface. Legends told of a hidden song that played only when the moon was full and the lake's waters were still. In this village lived a young girl named Ilara, who loved the starry lake more than anything. Ilara was known for her kind heart and adventurous spirit. She often spent her evenings by the lake, dreaming of the day she might hear the fabled song. One evening, as the full moon rose high and the lake sparkled like a sea of stars, Elara noticed something strange. The usually calm waters of the lake began to ripple, and the starry reflections seemed to waver. Elara felt a sense of urgency. She remembered the old tales her grandmother had told her about a song that could only be heard and the moon's light touched the lake at the exact moment. Determined to uncover the mystery, Elara decided to seek out the source of the song. With a lantern in hand and a heart full of determination, she set off toward the heart of the forest that bordered the lake. As she ventured deeper into the forest, Elara encountered a wise old owl perched on a gnarled branch. The owl's feathers shimmered with a silver light, reflecting the moon's glow. "Wise owl, can you help me?" Elara asked. "The Starry Lake song seems to be lost, and I need to find it before the night ends." The owl, named Orin, looked at her with knowing eyes. "To find the song, you must follow the path of moonlight through the forest and solve 3 trials that guard the heart of the lake." With that, Orin spread his wings and pointed with his beak toward a winding path illuminated by moonlight. Elara thanked him and began her journey along the path. The first trial was a field of enchanted flowers that glowed softly in the moonlight. As Elara walked through the field, she noticed that the flowers were singing a gentle melody. However, the song was incomplete, as if something were missing. A mischievous sprite named Leora appeared among the flowers. "To pass this trial, you must restore harmony to the melody," Leora said. "The flowers need a lullaby to complete their song." Elara remembered a lullaby her mother used to sing to her. With a soft, soothing voice, she began to sing the lullaby. The flowers responded by glowing brighter and singing along, creating a harmonious melody. The path ahead became clearer, and Leora waved goodbye, letting Elara continue. The second trial led Elara to a crystal-clear pond surrounded by whispering reeds. A gentle mist hovered over the water, and a shimmering figure emerged, a graceful water nymph named Seraphina. To continue, Seraphina said, "You must find the missing note of the song hidden in the pond's depths. Only then will the waters guide you." Elara peered into the pond and saw a small, iridescent note resting at the bottom. Without hesitation, she reached into the water and retrieved the note. As she held it up, the mist parted, revealing a bridge made of moonlight that led to the final trial. The third trial took Elara to a grand oak tree with branches that reached towards the sky. The tree's leaves were silver and seemed to hum with a soft, rhythmic pulse. A wise old faun named Thorn appeared, leaning on a gnarled staff. "Here lies the final trial," Thorn said. "You must listen to the rhythm of the leaves and match their beats with your own heart." Elara closed her eyes and listened carefully to the tree's rhythm. She focused on her heartbeat, letting its steady pulse guide her. As she matched the rhythm, the tree's leaves began to glow brighter, and the final part of the song became clear. With all 3 trials completed, Elara followed the path to the heart of the lake, where the waters were calm and mirror-like. As she approached, she saw the source of the song, a beautiful, ancient harp resting on a pedestal in the center of the lake. Elara touched the harp gently, and the lake's waters began to ripple in time with the melody. The reflections of the stars danced across the surface, and the full, enchanting song of the starry lake filled the air. The music was as timeless as the stars themselves, a symphony of celestial beauty. Elara felt a deep sense of fulfillment and joy. She had restored the lost song and brought harmony back to the starry lake. As she returned to the village, the villagers gathered by the lake, marveling at the magical music that now filled their nights. From that day on, the Starry Lake song played every full moon, a reminder of Elara's bravery and the timeless magic of their world. The village of Eldoria thrived under the starry sky, with the lake song inspiring dreams and spreading joy to all who listened. Once upon a time, in a quaint village surrounded by rolling hills and lush meadows, lived a young boy named Finn. Finn was known for his adventurous spirit and his love for exploring the forest that bordered the village. He often ventured into the forest, discovering hidden paths and secret clearings. One crisp autumn morning, while wandering deeper into the forest than ever before, Finn stumbled upon a mysterious grove. The grove was unlike anything he had seen: trees with silver leaves, flowers that glowed softly, and a gentle mist that curled around his feet. At the center of the grove was an ancient oak tree with a hollow trunk, and beside it, a small, intricately carved wooden box. Intrigued, Finn approached the box and noticed a golden key lying on top of it. The key was adorned with delicate patterns and glimmered in the dappled sunlight. Beside the box was a note that read, "The golden key unlocks the path to the secret realm. But beware, only the pure-hearted may enter." Curious and excited, Finn took the key and opened the box. Inside was a map marked with a trail leading to a hidden destination. The map depicted a path through the enchanted forest, over a crystal-clear river, and towards the base of a towering mountain. Finn decided to follow the map, eager to uncover the secret of the grove. As Finn journeyed along the marked path, he encountered various challenges. The first challenge was the Whispering Stream. The stream's waters were crystal clear, but the whispers of the stream were said to confuse travelers. The whispers spoke of fears and doubts, trying to dissuade Finn from continuing. Finn took a deep breath and remembered the advice his grandmother had given him: trust in yourself and listen to your heart. Focusing on his inner strength, Finn ignored the whispers and crossed the stream by stepping on the stepping stones that shimmered with a magical glow. On the other side of the stream, Finn found a vibrant meadow with flowers that sang in the breeze. The flowers seemed to be guiding him towards a dense thicket. He followed their melody and discovered the entrance to a hidden cave. Inside the cave, he found a large, ancient door adorned with mystical runes. Finn took out the golden key and inserted it into the lock. The door creaked open, revealing a magnificent chamber filled with golden light. In the center of the chamber stood a pedestal with a glowing crystal orb. The orb radiated warmth and seemed to pulse with life. As Finn approached the orb, he noticed a figure materializing before him, a wise old man with a long, flowing beard and a robe that shimmered like stardust. "Welcome, Finn," the old man said in a voice that resonated like a melody. "I am Eldrick, the guardian of the secret realm. You have proven your bravery and kindness by navigating the challenges of the enchanted forest. The crystal orb you see before you is the heart of the realm. It holds the power to bring balance and harmony to our world." Eldrick continued, "The secret realm is a place of great magic, but it is also in need of help. An ancient curse has caused the heart of the realm to lose its light, and the balance of magic is threatened. Only someone with a pure heart can restore its power." Finn felt a surge of determination. "How can I help?" he asked. Eldrick handed Finn a small vial filled with stardust. This stardust can be used to reignite the heart of the realm. However, the process is not simple. You must perform a ritual under the light of the full moon and speak the words of restoration. The full moon will rise tonight. Finn thanked Eldrick and left the chamber, carrying the vial of stardust with him. He found a serene spot in the heart of the secret realm, a place surrounded by ancient trees and bathed in moonlight. As the moon reached its zenith, Finn carefully opened the vial and poured the stardust onto the heart of the realm. He spoke the words of restoration that Eldrick had taught him: "By moonlight's grace and stardust's gleam, restore the heart, fulfill the dream. Let balance reign and magic thrive. In this realm, let all things live." The crystal orb began to glow with a brilliant light, spreading warmth and energy throughout the secret realm. The ancient curse was lifted, and the realm was filled with vibrant colors and renewed magic. The trees sparkled with enchantment, the flowers sang joyfully, and the creatures of the realm rejoiced. Eldrick appeared once more, his eyes filled with gratitude. "You have done it, Finn. You have restored the heart of the realm and brought balance back to our world. As a token of our thanks, we wish to grant you a special gift." Eldrick handed Finn a small, golden locket. This locket holds a piece of the realm's magic. Whenever you wear it, you will be able to visit the secret realm and share in its wonders. Finn thanked Eldrick and returned to his village, where he was greeted with admiration and wonder. His adventure had not only restored the magic of the secret realm but had also brought a new sense of wonder and joy to his own world. From that day on, Finn often visited the secret realm, exploring its mysteries and sharing its magic with those he loved. The enchanted forest remained a place of wonder, and Finn's bravery and kindness became a cherished story told to children for generations to come. And so, Finn lived happily ever after, knowing that he had played a crucial role in preserving the magic of the secret realm and enriching his own world with the light of adventure and friendship. The end. Once upon a time, in a quiet kingdom surrounded by rolling hills and lush meadows, there was an ancient forest known as the Enchanted Forest. This forest was not only a place of beauty but also of great magic. It was said that deep within the forest lay a hidden treasure known as the Heart of Harmony, a crystal that could bring peace and balance to all who possessed it. In the nearby village lived a young boy named Finn. Finn was known for his adventurous spirit and kind heart. He loved exploring the forests and meadows around his home, always dreaming of discovering something magical. One day, Finn heard a rumor from the village storyteller about the Heart of Harmony and its incredible powers. Intrigued, Finn decided to embark on a quest to find it and bring peace to his village, which had recently been troubled by disputes and disagreements. As the sun set and the full moon rose high in the sky, Finn set off toward the enchanted forest. The forest was shrouded in moonlight, casting an ethereal glow over the path ahead. Armed with a small satchel of supplies and a lantern, Finn stepped through the ancient trees, which seemed to whisper secrets in the night breeze. The forest was alive with magical creatures. Glowing fireflies flitted about, and the soft rustle of leaves accompanied Finn's every step. Soon, he encountered his first challenge, a mischievous sprite named Puck, who guarded a bridge over a sparkling brook. "Halt, traveler!" Puck called out, blocking Finn's way. "To cross the bridge, you must answer my riddle." Finn nodded eagerly, ready for the challenge. "What has keys but can't open locks, and has a voice but can't speak?" Puck asked with a twinkle in his eye. Finn thought for a moment, then smiled. "A piano." Puck clapped his tiny hands in delight. "Well done, young adventurer. You may pass." With that, Puck danced across the bridge, leaving a trail of sparkling dust behind him. As Finn continued deeper into the forest, he came upon a dense thicket filled with thorny vines. The vines seemed to writhe and twist, forming a maze that blocked his way. Finn carefully made his way through, using his lantern to light the path and his keen sense of direction to avoid getting lost. After much effort, he emerged on the other side, tired but determined. In the heart of the forest, Finn found himself in a beautiful glade bathed in moonlight. At the center of the glade was a grand, ancient tree with branches that seemed to touch the stars. Hanging from its branches was a crystal orb that glowed with a soft, harmonious light. This was the Heart of Harmony. However, before Finn could reach it, a deep, rumbling voice echoed through the glade. "Who dares to seek the Heart of Harmony?" From the shadows emerged a majestic, wise old owl named Orion. Orion's eyes were sharp and knowing, and his feathers glistened with the moonlight. "I am Finn from the village," he said bravely. "I seek the Heart of Harmony to bring peace to my home." Orion studied Finn for a moment, then said, "To claim the heart, you must prove that you truly understand the value of harmony and peace. You must perform 3 tasks to show your worth." Finn agreed, eager to prove himself. Orion led him to the first task, a small, tranquil pond where 2 swans were quarreling over a single fish. "Your task," Orion explained, "is to help the swans find a solution without causing harm." Finn approached the swans and spoke kindly to them. "There is enough food for both of you. Perhaps you could share this fish and find a way to cooperate?" The swans, moved by Finn's words, agreed to share the fish and even found that they enjoyed each other's company. Finn had successfully completed the first task. The second task was a little more challenging. Orion took Finn to a meadow where a group of animals were arguing over the best place to build their homes. "You must help them reach an agreement," Orion said. Finn thought carefully and suggested, "Why don't you build your homes in different parts of the meadow, each in a place that suits your needs? That way, everyone will have a suitable home and can live in harmony." The animals agreed to Finn's suggestion, and the meadow became a peaceful place where all creatures lived together in harmony. For the final task, Orion led Finn to a dark cave where a frightened creature was hiding. the creature was a small, trembling dragon who had been lost and alone. Help this dragon feel safe and find its way home, Orion instructed. Finn approached the dragon gently. You're not alone. I'll help you find your way home. He offered the dragon a comforting smile and used his lantern to light the dark path. With Finn's help, the dragon found its way back to its family, who were overjoyed to see it. The dragon thanked Finn with a warm nuzzle and a promise of friendship. Having completed all 3 tasks, Finn returned to the glade with the Heart of Harmony. Orion greeted him with a nod of approval. You have shown great understanding of peace and harmony. The Heart of Harmony is yours. Finn took the crystal orb gently and felt its warm, soothing energy. He thanked Orion and made his way back to the village, where he was greeted as a hero. With the Heart of Harmony placed in the center of the village, its magical light spread peace and balance throughout the community. Disputes faded, and the villagers learned to live together with greater understanding and kindness. Finn's adventure became a cherished tale in the village, a reminder of the importance of harmony and the power of a kind heart. And as for Finn, he continued to explore and help others, knowing that the true heart of harmony lay not just in magical objects, but in the compassion and understanding shared among people. And so, the village thrived in peace and harmony, forever grateful to the brave young boy who had brought the Heart of Harmony into their lives. The end. Banda Noi. Once upon a time, in a kingdom nestled high in the mountains, there lived a young princess named Elara. Unlike other princesses, Elara was not content with a life of luxury and grand banquets. She was curious, adventurous, and had a heart full of wonder. Her favorite time of day was dusk when the first stars began to twinkle in the evening sky. She loved to sit by her window, watching as the stars slowly filled the sky, dreaming of what lay beyond the mountains. One evening, as Elara gazed at the stars, she noticed something unusual. One star, larger and brighter than the others, seemed to be flickering in and out of sight. Intrigued, she leaned closer, and to her amazement, she saw a shimmering path of light leading from her window to the star. It was as if the star was calling to her, inviting her to follow. Without hesitation, Elara grabbed her cloak and slipped out of the castle. She followed the starlit path, which wound through the forest, across rivers, and up the steep slopes of the mountains. The path was narrow and treacherous, but Elara's curiosity and determination kept her moving forward. The further she went, the more the path seemed to glow, guiding her through the darkness. After hours of walking, Elara found herself standing at the edge of a vast, glistening lake. The water was so clear that it reflected the stars perfectly, making it seem as if the sky had fallen to earth. In the center of the lake was a small island, and on that island stood a grand tree with silver leaves that sparkled like diamonds. The large, flickering star was perched on one of its branches. Elara knew she had to reach the island, but there was no boat in sight. As she pondered how to cross the lake, a soft voice echoed in her mind, "Believe in the path, and it will guide you." Taking a deep breath, Elara stepped onto the water. To her astonishment, the water supported her weight, and a path of light appeared beneath her feet. She walked carefully across the lake, the starlit path guiding her to the island. As she reached the shore, she felt a sense of calm wash over her, as if she had entered a place of pure magic. The tree on the island was more magnificent up close, its branches stretching high into the sky. Elara approached the tree, and as she did, the star descended from its branch, hovering just above her head. "Princess Elara," the star spoke, its voice soft and melodic, "you have been chosen for a great task. There is a land far beyond these mountains that has fallen into darkness. The people there have lost their way and forgotten the beauty of the night sky. Only a heart as pure as yours can bring back the light." Elara listened intently as the star continued, "I will guide you to this land, but the journey will not be easy. You must find 3 lost stars that have been captured by the shadows. Only by restoring these stars to the sky can you save the land from eternal darkness." Without a moment's hesitation, Elara agreed to the task. The star then transformed into a small, glowing pendant and hung around her neck. "This pendant will light your way and protect you from the shadows," the star said. "Now, follow the path once more." As Alara set out on her journey, the starlit path reappeared, leading her away from the island and into the unknown. She traveled for days, through dense forests, over rocky cliffs, and across barren deserts. Along the way, she encountered creatures of the night, owls, foxes, and even a wise old wolf, all of whom offered their help and guidance. Finally, Alara reached the edge of a dark, desolate land where the sky was covered in thick clouds, blocking out all light. The air was heavy with sorrow, and the ground was cold and barren. This was the land the star had spoken of, a place where hope had been lost. Alara knew the first lost star was near, so she pressed on, her pendant glowing brighter with each step. She followed the light to a deep, shadowy cave. Inside the cave, the walls were lined with sharp rocks, and the air was filled with an eerie silence. At the far end of the cave, Alara saw a faint glimmer of light, the first lost star, trapped in a crystal cage. With determination, Alara approached the cage. As she reached out to touch it, the shadows in the cave came to life, swirling around her and whispering dark thoughts in her ear. But Alara's heart was strong, and she focused on the light of the pendant, which grew brighter and brighter until it drove the shadows away. The crystal cage shattered, and the first star was free. It rose into the air, shining brightly before shooting up into the sky. One by one, the clouds began to part, and the sky grew a little lighter. Alara continued her journey, finding the second star in a twisted forest and the third in the depths of a frozen lake. Each time, the shadows tried to stop her, but each time, her courage and the light of the pendant saw her through. With all three stars restored to the sky, the land began to heal. The sky cleared, and the stars shone brightly once more. The people of the land, who had lived in darkness for so long, emerged from their homes, filled with wonder at the sight of the night sky. Alara returned to the starlit lake, where the tree with silver leaves stood waiting for her. The pendant around her neck glowed one last time before transforming back into the star. It rose into the sky, taking its place among the others. "Thank you, Princess Alara," the star's voice echoed from above. "Because of your bravery, the light has returned to this land. You have done a great deed, and the stars will always remember you." Alara smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. The starlit path appeared once more, leading her back home to her kingdom. When she returned, she was greeted as a hero, and the tale of her journey was told far and wide. From that day on, whenever Alara looked at the night sky, she knew that she was never truly alone. The stars were her friends, and they would guide her wherever her heart desired. And so, Princess Alara lived a life full of adventure, always following the starlit path, knowing that it would lead her to new wonders and new dreams. The Clockwork Kingdom. Once upon a time, in a land where the sun always seemed to shine and the hills were covered in lush, green meadows, there was a marvelous kingdom known as Tiktakia. Tiktakia was unlike any other place. It was a land entirely made of clocks and gears. Every building was a grand clock tower, and the streets were lined with intricate, mechanical pathways. The kingdom's people were clockmakers, and their lives were guided by the rhythm of the ticking clocks. At the heart of Tiktakia stood the grandest of all the clocks, the Grand Timepiece. This enormous clock was not only the kingdom's centerpiece but also its protector. It was said that the Grand Timepiece held the power to keep time flowing smoothly and to ensure that everything in the kingdom worked harmoniously. The ruler of Tiktakia was a wise and gentle king named Horatio. King Horatio had a daughter named Lyra, who was not only kind-hearted but also deeply curious about the world beyond the kingdom. Despite living in a land where time was meticulously measured, Lyra often dreamed of exploring the mysterious lands that lay outside Tiktakia's borders. One day, a strange event occurred. The Grand Timepiece began to tick erratically, causing confusion and chaos throughout the kingdom. Clocks started to run backwards, gears jammed, and the once orderly streets became a tangled mess. The kingdom's peace was disrupted, and the people grew worried. King Horatio called for a grand assembly to solve the crisis. The kingdom's finest clockmakers and engineers gathered, but none could figure out why the Grand Timepiece was malfunctioning. The king's heart was heavy, knowing that if the Grand Timepiece's troubles were not resolved soon, Tiktakia would face even greater chaos. Lyra, seeing her father's distress, decided to take matters into her own hands. She knew that the Grand Timepiece was the key to everything in the kingdom, and she believed that the answer to its troubles might lie beyond the familiar borders of Tiktakia. She prepared for a journey, taking only a small satchel with essentials and a pocket-sized clock she had built herself. As she stepped out of the kingdom, she felt both excitement and trepidation. The path ahead was uncharted, and the lands beyond Tiktakia were filled with unknowns. As Lyra ventured into the world outside, she encountered strange and wondrous places. She crossed a bridge made of golden threads that glimmered in the sunlight, navigated through a forest where trees grew like winding clock springs, and climbed mountains where the rocks seemed to hum with rhythmic pulses. During her journey, Lyra came across a wise old hermit living in a cave. The hermit, with his long white beard and twinkling eyes, was surrounded by peculiar devices and ancient timepieces. "Greetings, young traveler," the hermit said. "What brings you to this distant place?" Lyra explained the situation in Tiktakia and her quest to restore the Grand Timepiece. The hermit listened intently and then revealed a hidden drawer filled with old blueprints and diagrams. "The Grand Timepiece is indeed a marvel of engineering," the hermit said. "But every great creation needs maintenance and care. It appears that a critical gear has become misaligned, causing the disruptions you are experiencing. I have a blueprint for a special tool that can realign the gear. You must travel to the heart of the clockwork realm to find the necessary components." The hermit provided Lyra with a map and a small, enchanted gear that would guide her to the heart of the clockwork realm. With renewed determination, Lyra set off on her new path. Following the map, Lyra arrived at a hidden valley where the heart of the clockwork realm lay. It was a breathtaking sight, a massive clockwork assembly with countless gears and cogs moving in perfect harmony. At the center was a colossal, shimmering gear that was the key to realigning the Grand Timepiece. Lyra used the enchanted gear and the blueprints to carefully adjust and align the components. With each precise adjustment, the heart of the clockwork realm began to glow brighter, and the entire assembly moved more smoothly. The work was delicate and required patience, but Lyra's skill and focus paid off. Once the final adjustment was made, the magical gear resonated with a harmonious chime. Lyra felt a surge of energy and knew that she had succeeded. The heart of the clockwork realm was restored to its former glory, and the enchanted gear began to guide her back to Tiktakia. When Lyra returned to the kingdom, the Grand Timepiece was ticking steadily once again. The chaos subsided, and the kingdom's rhythm was restored. The people celebrated her bravery and ingenuity, and King Horatio was immensely proud of his daughter. Lyra's adventure had not only saved Tiktakia but had also shown her the beauty and wonder of the world beyond the kingdom. She continued to explore and learn, sharing her knowledge with the people of Tiktakia and fostering a sense of curiosity and exploration in the kingdom. The Grand Timepiece continued to keep time in perfect harmony, and Tiktakia thrived, now with an even greater appreciation for the wonders that lay beyond its borders. And so, the kingdom lived happily ever after, forever grateful to the brave girl who ventured beyond the ticking clock to restore balance and harmony to their world. Once upon a time, in a serene valley where wildflowers danced in the breeze and crystal streams sang their melodies, lay a hidden kingdom called Luminera. This kingdom was veiled by a spell that made it invisible to the outside world, and its beauty could only be seen by those who possessed a special charm. This charm was a rare flower known as the moonflower, which bloomed only once every 100 years under the light of a full moon. In a nearby village named Willowdale, there lived a kind-hearted and adventurous girl named Alara. She had always been enchanted by the tales of Luminera that her grandmother told her. According to legend, the moonflower was the key to finding the hidden kingdom and restoring its magic. One evening, while exploring the forest, Alara stumbled upon a glowing, silvery flower nestled among the ferns. It was the moonflower, its petals shimmering like the moonlight. Alara carefully picked the flower, feeling a surge of excitement. She knew that this was her chance to uncover the secrets of Luminera. As the full moon rose high in the night sky, Alara followed the light of the moonflower through the forest. The flower guided her to a majestic, ancient oak tree with a door carved into its trunk. With a deep breath, Elara inserted the moonflower into a slot beside the door. The door creaked open, revealing a hidden passageway bathed in soft, magical light. Elara stepped through the door and found herself in Luminera, a kingdom of breathtaking beauty. The streets were lined with luminescent flowers, and the buildings sparkled like gemstones. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blossoms and the gentle hum of enchantment. Yet, despite its beauty, Luminera seemed to be in a state of slumber, its magic dormant and its inhabitants frozen in time. At the heart of the kingdom stood a grand palace, its spires reaching towards the stars. Elara approached the palace, her heart full of wonder. As she entered, she was greeted by a regal figure, a queen with a crown of moonlight and eyes that shone with ancient wisdom. The queen introduced herself as Queen Seraphina. "Welcome, brave Elara," Queen Seraphina said with a voice like a lullaby. "You have found our kingdom and awakened its magic with the moonflower. However, to restore Luminera to its full glory, you must complete 3 tasks. Each task will test your heart and spirit." Elara nodded, ready for the challenge. "What must I do?" Task 1, the Whispering Forest. Queen Seraphina led Elara to a lush forest where the trees were silent and still. The forest's magic had been lost, and the trees had stopped speaking their ancient songs. Elara discovered that the trees could be awakened by sharing stories of courage and kindness. She spent hours recounting tales of bravery and compassion, and gradually, the trees began to rustle and whisper once more, their leaves glowing with renewed life. Task 2, the Enchanted Fountain. The second task took Elara to an ornate fountain that had long run dry. The fountain's waters had been tainted by a spell of sadness. Elara learned that the waters could be cleansed by bringing joy and laughter to the kingdom. She organized a grand celebration in the palace gardens, filled with music, dance, and laughter. As the kingdom rejoiced, the fountain's waters sparkled back to life, cascading with crystal-clear purity. Task 3, the Heart of the Moonstone. For the final task, Elara was taken to the Moonstone Chamber, a hidden grotto beneath the palace where a large, glowing moonstone lay. The moonstone's light had dimmed, and its magic was waning. Elara needed to restore its light by performing a task of pure-heartedness. She discovered that the moonstone could be rekindled by offering a heartfelt gift. Elara took out a locket her grandmother had given her, a token of love and family, and placed it beside the moonstone. The locket's warmth and love revitalized the moonstone, and its light shone brighter than ever. With all tasks completed, the magic of Luminera was fully restored. The kingdom awakened from its slumber. And its inhabitants, who had been frozen in time, began to move and celebrate. Queen Seraphina thanked Elara for her bravery and kindness. "You have brought our kingdom back to life and restored its magic," the queen said. "As a token of our gratitude, we grant you a wish." Elara thought for a moment and then spoke with a gentle smile. "I wish for the magic of Luminera to be shared with my village and the world beyond, so that everyone can experience the wonder and beauty you have shown me." Queen Seraphina nodded, and with a wave of her hand, she granted Elara's wish. The magic of Luminera began to spread, touching the hearts of people everywhere. The village of Willowdale flourished with new enchantments, and the beauty of Luminera's magic could be felt in every corner of the world. Elara returned to Willowdale, her heart full of joy and wonder. The story of her adventure became a cherished tale in the village, inspiring others to seek out their own magic and to embrace the beauty and kindness that lie within their hearts. And so, the legend of Elara and the Moonflower lived on, a reminder that true magic is found in acts of bravery, kindness, and the desire to share wonder with the world. The lost kingdom of the Starlight Lake. Once upon a time, in a distant land where the mountains kissed the sky and the valleys were shrouded in mist, there was a magical lake known as Starlight Lake. This lake was famous for its sparkling waters that reflected the night sky, even during the day. Legends told of a hidden kingdom beneath its surface, a kingdom filled with wonders and magic. In a small village near the lake lived a kind-hearted girl named Eliana. She was known for her love of adventure and her unyielding curiosity. Every evening, she would sit by the lake, watching the stars dance upon its surface and dreaming of what lay beneath the shimmering waters. One evening, as the sun began to set and the stars started to twinkle, Eliana noticed something unusual. The surface of the lake began to glow with a soft, golden light, and a gentle breeze carried a melody that seemed to come from deep within the water. Her heart raced with excitement. Could this be the moment the legend spoke of? Determined to discover the truth, Eliana took a deep breath and waded into the lake. As she moved further into the water, she noticed that the golden light grew brighter and the melody grew clearer. The water was warm and comforting, and she felt as though she were floating on a cloud. Suddenly, the surface of the lake began to part, revealing a hidden path of luminous stones leading downward. Eliana followed the path, her heart pounding with anticipation. As she descended, the light around her grew more dazzling, and the melody became a harmonious chorus. At the bottom of the path, Eliana found herself in a magnificent underwater kingdom. The palace was made of shimmering coral, and the walls were adorned with pearls and precious gems. Schools of colorful fish swam gracefully through the water, and the air was filled with the scent of blooming underwater flowers. A regal figure approached her, a mermaid queen with flowing, silver hair and a crown of sea glass. "Welcome, brave traveler," the queen said with a warm smile. "I am Queen Leora of the Lost Kingdom of Starlight Lake. You are the first to discover our realm in many years. What brings you here?" Eliana bowed respectfully. "I have always been fascinated by the legends of your kingdom. I wish to see if they were true and to learn more about the magic that lies beneath Starlight Lake." Queen Leora's eyes sparkled with approval. "Your curiosity and bravery have brought you here. We are a kingdom of magic and harmony, but we have faced a grave problem. A dark spell has been cast upon our realm, causing our magic to fade and our kingdom to wither. Only a heart of pure intent can lift the spell and restore our kingdom to its former glory." Eliana's eyes widened. "How can I help?" The queen handed her a small, ornate vial filled with a glowing liquid. "This is the essence of the moon's light. It has the power to break the spell, but it must be poured into the Heartstone, a magical gem that lies hidden in the depths of our kingdom. The Heartstone is protected by enchantments and will require both courage and wisdom to reach." Eliana accepted the vial with determination. "I will do my best." Guided by the queen's instructions, Eliana ventured deeper into the kingdom. She encountered various challenges along the way: cunning sea serpents, intricate puzzles, and deceptive illusions. With each challenge, she relied on her courage and her keen sense of right and wrong. Eventually, Eliana reached the chamber where the Heartstone was kept. It was a grand, circular room with a pedestal in the center, upon which rested the Heartstone. The stone was dark and dull, its magic seemingly drained. Eliana approached the Heartstone and carefully poured the essence of the moon's light over it. The liquid seeped into the stone, and a brilliant light erupted from the Heartstone, filling the room with a warm, golden glow. The enchantments that protected the Heartstone dissolved, and the kingdom's magic began to flow back, rejuvenating the coral palace and the underwater gardens. Queen Leora appeared beside Eliana, her eyes filled with gratitude. "You have restored our kingdom's magic and saved us from darkness. For your bravery and pure heart, we offer you a gift. Whenever you need us, you may call upon the magic of the Lost Kingdom, and we will come to your aid." Eliana smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. "Thank you, Queen Leora. I will cherish this gift." With a final farewell, Eliana made her way back to the surface, leaving the enchanted realm behind. As she emerged from the lake, the golden light faded, and the lake's surface returned to its serene, sparkling beauty. Back in her village, Eliana shared the tale of the Lost Kingdom and the magic she had witnessed. The villagers marveled at her bravery and the wonders she had seen. Though the kingdom was hidden from view, the magic of Starlight Lake continued to inspire and protect the village, a reminder of the courage and kindness that could overcome even the darkest of spells. And so, the legend of the Lost Kingdom of Starlight Lake lived on, and Eliana's story became a cherished part of village lore, reminding all who heard it that true magic lies not just in enchanted realms, but in the hearts of those who seek to make the world a better place. And they all lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed this fairy tale. In the heart of a sprawling, emerald forest lay a hidden meadow known only to a few. This meadow was said to be enchanted, its beauty unmatched, with flowers that sang and streams that sparkled like liquid diamonds. The legend spoke of a magical flower at the center of this meadow, called the luminous blossom, which had the power to grant one wish to anyone with a pure heart. One spring morning, a young boy named Finn, who lived in a nearby village, overheard a conversation between two wandering merchants about this very flower. Finn was known for his kind heart and adventurous spirit. His village had been suffering from a long drought, and Finn dreamed of finding the luminous blossom to restore life to his village's parched fields. Determined to help his family and friends, Finn decided to embark on a journey to find the enchanted meadow and the magical flower. Armed with a small satchel, a map he had drawn from the merchant's descriptions, and his unwavering courage, Finn set off into the forest. The journey through the forest was challenging. Tall trees loomed overhead, and the path seemed to shift with every step. But Finn's determination never wavered. As he ventured deeper, he came upon a babbling brook with water as clear as crystal. A wise old turtle with a shell covered in moss was resting by the water's edge. "Greetings, young traveler," the turtle said in a slow, deliberate voice. "I know you seek the enchanted meadow. To find it, you must pass 3 tests: the test of courage, the test of wisdom, and the test of compassion." Finn nodded, ready for the challenges ahead. Test of courage. The turtle led Finn to a dark cave with an eerie glow emanating from within. The entrance was guarded by a fierce-looking dragon made of shadows. The dragon roared as Finn approached. To pass this test, the dragon rumbled, "You must face your fears and prove your bravery." Finn took a deep breath and stepped forward. The dragon's shadowy form seemed to grow larger and more menacing, but Finn remembered his village's plight and focused on his goal. With a burst of courage, he approached the dragon and, to his surprise, found that the shadows parted before him. The dragon's roar faded, revealing a hidden passageway. The turtle, watching from afar, congratulated Finn on his bravery and guided him to the next test. Test of wisdom. The second test brought Finn to a glistening meadow where a giant, ancient tree stood with its branches stretching towards the sky. Beneath the tree was a grand door carved with intricate symbols. An owl perched nearby, holding a scroll in its talons. To pass this test, the owl said, "You must solve this riddle. I have cities but no houses, forests but no trees, and rivers but no water. What am I?" Finn thought hard, considering the riddle. He recalled stories and maps he had read. "A map," he answered confidently. The owl nodded, and the grand door creaked open to reveal a hidden path leading deeper into the forest. Test of compassion. The final test took Finn to a clearing where a small, injured deer lay on the ground. The deer's eyes were filled with pain, and it looked at Finn with pleading eyes. Beside the deer was a basket of herbs and bandages. To pass this test, a soft voice said, "You must help this creature and show compassion." Finn carefully approached the deer and used the herbs and bandages to tend to its wounds. As he worked, the deer's pain seemed to ease, and it nuzzled Finn gratefully. Once the deer was cared for, it stood up, its strength restored. The soft voice spoke again, thanking Finn for his kindness. With the final test complete, the turtle led Finn to the enchanted meadow. The sight was more breathtaking than he had ever imagined. The meadow was alive with vibrant colors, and at its center stood the luminous blossom, glowing with a soft, golden light. Finn approached the flower and made his wish for his village. He wished for rain to end the drought and restore the land's fertility. As he spoke his wish, the luminous blossom's light grew brighter, and a gentle rain began to fall over the meadow. The rain carried through the forest, reaching Finn's village and soaking the dry, cracked earth. Returning to his village, Finn was greeted with cheers and tears of joy. The fields soon flourished with lush, green crops, and the villagers celebrated their newfound prosperity. Finn was hailed as a hero, not just for finding the luminous blossom, but for his bravery, wisdom, and compassion. The enchanted meadow remained a hidden treasure, known only to those with pure hearts and a selfless spirit. Finn's tale became a legend, reminding all who heard it that true magic lies in the courage to face one's fears, the wisdom to solve life's puzzles, and the compassion to help those in need. And so, in the heart of the forest and the spirit of the village, the magic of the luminous blossom lived on, a beacon of hope and a testament to the power of a kind and determined heart. In the gentle rain that fell upon the village, the people learned that the most powerful magic of all comes from within and that the greatest adventures often start with a simple act of kindness.